loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Hi, hello, my name is Loey and I am a confessed Dear David addict. This story has absolutely consumed me. It is a little bit ridiculous. I am really just so obsessed with it, so obsessed with everything that it has become. I mean, when I look at this as a true story and not like, is Adam Ellis really haunted by the spirit of a dead boy? Like IRL Adam Ellis haunted by the spirit of a dead boy he keeps getting pictures of. I enjoy it so much. Like when I look at this as a viral, scary story that it truly is, I love the crap out of this story. And I think about Dear David a lot to this point where he probably should be haunting me by now, but I really wanted to sit down and kind of give you guys my own personal theories, because a lot of the time I'll tell you in bits and pieces what I think, but 99% of the time I'd say I'm just presenting you the story and asking you your own thoughts. I react to it, but I don't give you like, here's what I think is gonna happen next, here's what I think all of this means. And I really wanted to sit down and just tell you really and truly what I think of the story as of right now. First and foremost, I really would like to do a front to back cover of Dear David, like the full story in one sitting, because once again, I feel, and I've said that before, but I feel like I really like reading the entire story over again, because now that we're kind of getting the clues and the pieces to the puzzle in real time, it's hard sometimes to reflect back and think about previous things that have happened throughout the story. And I think that once we do that as like a family, as a community, I think that we're gonna kind of unearth more things that I'm not even thinking about in this video. But for today, I wanted to talk about kind of the most recent Dear David update, what I think that it means, and just also what I think David is after, because Adam had mentioned that a lot of people say to him, you know, David's just a boy, he just wants you to know what happened to him, he just wants you to know his story, and Adam doesn't really buy that or believe that. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that I do anymore either. At first, I thought, like most people, that it was a paranormal game, that he had asked David one too many questions and now the spirit is haunting him and he has to do something to get rid of it. You know, like all of those paranormal games, I should really do a video on that, like the bathtub game, Blue Baby, like all of the paranormal games that you're never really supposed to play. And that's honestly what David felt like at first. And now I truly believe that David has tormented Adam to this place where he's going crazy. You guys, can I have an emo moment about the fact that Lily used to run the other direction from me for months and months and months, and now she wants to be so close, she'll sit in the chair and hang out while I talk to a camera. I don't know why, but I just think it's so ungodly cute that my cat is laying in the lap of my creepy Raggedy Ann doll. I don't know. I do not think David is harmless, and I do think he means Adam harm, and I also don't know entirely what that means. But again, today is going to be a day of just talking theories and talking to you guys about my own personal thoughts of what could happen next. And really and truly, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. We can do a part 2 to this where I read all of your theories. But right now, it truly seems like Adam did the whole thing, and I keep coming back to this place where he cleansed his apartment, and then he suddenly was seeing David outside of the apartment. And it was almost like David wanted to come inside, like, if that makes any sense. But now he wasn't allowed to anymore because of the cleansing, and now it does seem like the cleansing wasn't powerful enough steps weren't taken, or they need to do it again or something, because now obviously he's back into the apartment. But I just think it's interesting how he was banished outside pretty much after the cleansing. Haley was talking about recently how saging and how cleansing can sometimes make a very violent and malevolent and like something that doesn't mean you anything good kind of spirit. It can make it so much worse because now it knows you're trying to get rid of it, if that makes any sense. And that kind of seems like that's what happened with David. He was outside and now he's back in. And a lot of people said that I was wrong in the last video where I was like, he seems pissed, but I think he seems pissed. Like, he seems angry at Adam. Otherwise, why would he be like standing on the bed staring down at him like that? And like, Adam always says that there's a feeling of malice when he feels David is near, when he knows he just missed the sighting of David, that he feels malice. Those are his own words, and that is a word he put a lot of emphasis on. So it makes me believe that David does mean him harm. And the conclusion that I've kind of come to, well, one of the many conclusions, is that I think that David may want to take over Adam's body. I think that David might want to possess Adam. And before you think that is absolutely nuts, hear me out. Adam has been feeling so drained, so run down, so just like tired all of the time, wants to sleep. You know what I mean? Like even when creepy things are happening, it's like he can't bring himself to wake up. And what that makes me feel is that something is draining the energy from him and something is taking that away. Now, it's clear to me that not anymore is he really staying up all night worrying about David. I mean, he said himself, he is exhausted. All he wants to do is sleep. But it makes me wonder then, where is his energy going? That he's like slugging through every single workday. He falls asleep and he stays asleep. Like, it makes me think that something is taking that away from him. And when there are demonic or evil forces present, you can start to feel so drained of everything. You feel depressed. You feel, in a lot of cases, more than depressed, such serious, horrible, negative things. David is always around him, always sitting in a chair looking at him like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like he's always there and always in Adam's space, and he's standing over Adam and staring at him in bed, and like what that makes me think is maybe David wants his body. Like maybe David wants to take over his body. I rewatched a lot of my favorite horror movies really recently, and I kind of thought about the movie Insidious in particular because that is one of my favorite scary movies of all time. And if you look at Insidious, the way that all of these like entities are clawing to get inside of that young boy's body in Insidious, the one who can like what is the word that I'm looking for here? You know what I mean though, the one who can like leave his body and like go to other places, and it's like he got lost in the further. It's almost like I wonder if Adam is doing that and he doesn't even know it, and he's attracted the like attention of this young boy's spirit who just wants to be alive again. It just seems like there's this weird, unhealthy, creepy attachment there. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, or if that's even on the mark. Adam, if you want to ever break character and let a girl know, let me know, because that's kind of the conclusion, and that's the conclusion I'm running most with, is that maybe Adam is much more, and I don't think that he's always been very open spiritually, but I certainly think he is now, after spending months and months and months and months and months of sharing his home with the spirit of this little boy. I think that he has become more open. I think that he has opened himself up in a lot of ways. It makes me wonder if we look really, 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 really far back at the beginning of this story, when Adam bought the Ouija board, just in case, it makes me wonder if he did something with it. If maybe this is what this all stems from. If it all just goes back to that Ouija board and he did something and he has opened himself up to a very malevolent and angry haunting. And my next sort of theory is that maybe David isn't really David at all. I could be totally wrong here. I could be 100% off base. But what if something happened, and this is just my theory, when and if Adam played the Ouija board, and let's just assume he did, and this is when he played it, what if something is just pretending to be David? Because we have talked about before how the Ouija board lies, how the Ouija board pretends to be a loved one and it's not really that loved one, how spirits can say whatever the heck they want pretty much, and they can deceive you and be deceitful. What if something pretended to be David and he gave it permission to move in? You know, oh, why did that just happen? Did you guys just hear that? Why did that just happen? What was that? I don't know.
You're such a nice kitty, Chunk.
Oh, she's so chunky.
She's so chunk. Yeah, you're a good kitty. Okay, go back to sleep.
I just needed a kitty intermission because things were getting too intense. I really don't think that that's a possibility I had opened myself up to before, and maybe it's not really even a possibility anybody's talking about. That what if back when everything first went down, he did play the Ouija board, and maybe Adam felt embarrassed, or even like it wasn't like a monumental part of the story, even though he does report everything now. Back then it didn't really seem like he was reporting everything. So what if he played the Ouija board? What if David isn't really David, but something pretending to be David in order to have gained his trust, and now he lives there? And that would, I feel like that would make a lot of sense as to why he banished David and David is back. Because if this was just the spirit of a little boy, and it was really just a little boy who wasn't like demonic in nature, I don't think that this would really be happening to the level that it is. My current prediction is that something is going to take over Adam's body. Why are you so rude to your sister? She's literally just laying there. He just jumped up, put his butt in her face, and then left. I talked about briefly the theory that David was the boy in the box, and that was a theory sent in to me by one of my Twitter followers. She had pretty much put in all the work, all of the effort and research with that, and it was something I found interesting, that maybe Adam was inspired originally by the boy in the box, and that was really about the writing of the story. But if we're looking at the story as the story, wow, this is so many layers, like 100 layers of Dear David here. I do think that it is entirely plausible for him to have played that Ouija board, for something to have gone terribly wrong, and he didn't even know it went terribly wrong, and now it's like he has something that's not even David, but masking itself as David. I don't know, because there are a lot of like hidden gems in this story when you really look back. And again, this is why I want to do the entire read through, like front to back. I was gonna say cover to cover, but it's on Twitter, so it's pretty much start of the thread, end of the thread. But if you really look back, there were like faces that couldn't be explained in all of Adam's pictures, like creepy faces in the shadows, creepy faces in the windows. All of that really did happen after he got the Ouija board, just in case. That's my favorite theory in terms of what I think could be most plausible, that he invited something that just wasn't David into his place. And I do worry about Adam, the character's like energy and like life force being sucked from him, and it does really make me wonder if he just opened himself up to a spiritual openness that he didn't even know about before. And this could be why he's never really experienced anything like David before. It's like he doesn't freak out anymore. It's like he just posts them and then they're out in the open. But I can understand starting to feel run down and like this is the new normal, when all you ever experience is this person, this creature, this being like so desperate to get inside of you. In the last update, it did seem like David was sort of like, I guess he could have been interested in the camera in a sense, but it almost felt like he was like mocking the camera when he got right up next to it in that last photo in the set. It was weird. It was like he got right up next to it and he was like, haha, I'm here, like whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense. I also think that there's another side of this where maybe David really is desperate for Adam to know his story. Maybe that's why the shoe fell down from, you know, the ceiling or the attic or whatever. Maybe that's why he was given the marble. Maybe David is trying to make Adam understand his story, and it's like Adam isn't tuning in enough. So David is becoming more and more and more and more and more present because he's desperate for his story to be known, because he wants like Adam to know what happened to him. The story of David, as it was originally told to Adam, is that he died and that he had a shelf or something pushed on him in a grocery store, right? So maybe like Adam had asked that third question, David got mad because that was against the rules, but he does want Adam to know his story. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that that is another possibility that really hasn't been explored, that David could just be a boy that's pissed that he's not paying enough attention. You know what I mean? That he's like, you know, busy like setting up cameras and stuff instead of looking into the clues that he's being given, you know? I think that that is very, very possible, and a theory I personally quite like, because hopefully that means that eventually Adam will learn the story of David and will eventually tell us that story, because I'm very curious about David's story. It makes me sad sometimes that David doesn't get to like talk to us, if that makes sense. My third and final theory for this video, and I might kind of think of more theories as time goes on, is that Adam really did just play a paranormal game. You know, he asked, like, imagine if you played Bloody Mary and you were only allowed to ask Bloody Mary 2 questions, and then you asked her a third, and then like the lore goes that she'll grab you into the mirror, she'll haunt you until you, I don't know, do XYZ. Like, there are all of these paranormal games where if you do get haunted, like, I guess a better example would be hide and seek alone, which has a different name in Japanese, but we'll call it hide and seek alone, where basically if the doll in hide and seek alone does come after you, like if you find the doll in a place it shouldn't be, you have to take steps in order to prevent the doll from haunting you and possibly killing you in the long run, right? And maybe this is just something like that where Adam doesn't know a rule to end the game. You know what I mean? I do think that could be another really interesting outcome. I think that we're gonna see this story run on for a while longer though. I think that the hype is totally there. I think it's going to remain there long term. People are obsessed with this story. I'm obsessed with the story. Everyone's pretty much obsessed with the story, but I'm sure it's gonna run at least until his book launches, you know? So I think that we'll probably have a lot more like theory fuel as time goes on. But let me know what you guys think of this video down below. Let me know your own personal theories. I love you all so very much. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys and I'll see you in the next video.